Yo, today I've got a review of the new Drake and 21 Savage album, Her Loss. I've been a little bit critical of Drake's work in the past 5 years, since Views basically, but I always hope to get the best from him with each album. And this album was no different, but I had really high hopes going into this. It's a collab album with 21 Savage, and I thought him and 21 Savage did really well on Jimmy Cooks. That's a song from Honestly Nevermind. And you know, they sound like an interesting duo. And now they've got a whole album together. Honestly, 21 Savage for me is the best freshman of that 2016 class, maybe outside Denzel Curry. I think he's had the more solid discography, but 21 Savage's consistency has been great. And I mean, hey, look at him now. He's doing an album with Drake. The general sound is trap. It's a mix of some newer stuff and harsher, darker instrumentals, which is what I was hoping for. And it comes to no surprise to me that those tracks are my favorites of the whole album. There's also a few solo tracks by each on here, mostly by Drake. Of course, he wants to take the spotlight. And to be honest, I feel like those tracks only take away from the collaborative aspect of the album. It starts to feel more like a Drake album with a few 21 Savage features than a collab album between Drake and 21. And some songs are really focused on Drake, and those songs, Drake takes up so much runtime that I even forget 21 Savage is on them, like the track Hours in Silence. And as I said, they both have solo tracks. 21 has one, and on the solo track that 21 Savage has, 3 AM on Glenwood, I honestly think it's the worst song on the album. I know 21 can do much better than that, so it kind of baffles me why he chooses that to be the only solo song he has on the project. It's one of the most bland songs on the whole album, and I mean, it's a time and place track, like, you know, 3 AM on Glenwood, like the 5 PM in Calabasas type of tracks, you know. Drake has his own niche thing that he does. Drake has a whole series of those, so why is he not on it? I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But that aside, that's a little nitpicky. I shouldn't have even mentioned that probably. To talk about those harsher, harder hitting songs I mentioned, I think they're actually really good. The album starts off like that with the first few songs. The intro, Rich Flex, is pretty cool. I love the beat switches and they don't let the song get boring. The highlight of the song is indeed the second half of the track where it switches to a darker instrumental that Drake does very well over. But he is kind of zesty on the intro. I don't know what's all that about. He sounds a little sus if you ask me. Look, I don't know what look, he's been moving a little crazy recently.
21, can you do something for me? Can you talk to the ops next for me?
Then we have major distributions, which is great. Drake attacks the beat viciously and goes off. And I mean, 21 Savage, this beat is literally made for 21 Savage, and he does great over it. On BS, another track I consider to be in this branch of songs, and it's good. The more it goes on, the more I like it. Drake and 21 both do their thing. And I realized when Drake is in his rapping bag, he's rapping. Like, he gets your full attention, and you gotta hear everything that he's saying. He just has a presence over the track. And it's not even that he's saying anything crazy most of the time. But I mean, hey, Drake can spit sometimes, definitely. And I find that Drake brings the attention to him throughout this whole album, pretty much. I mean, to talk about the lyrics here, I've seen some people on Twitter and social media say they didn't enjoy the lyricism and songwriting on this album, but honestly, like, look, listen, I quite liked it, and I think it's one of the best qualities about the album. Yeah, you know, it's a little goofy, silly Drake, but to be honest, it is from both sides, Drake and 21, but I think that just helps add characters to the music and to the project. And I mean, it makes for pretty standout moments. Look, I wake up, go on Twitter, and the first thing I see is Drake talking about voting Tiana Trump for president. Like, bro, what am I seeing?
She a 10, tryna rap, it's good on mute.
I mean, at least he said she's a 10. She can, you know, she can be happy with that, because, you know, he... Nah, side note though, Drake for real met up with her, followed her on Instagram, and after that, after the meetup was over, he just straight up unfollowed her. Nah, that's fucked up. And Drake confirms that he's pro-choice. I mean, not the best way to say that you're pro-choice, but hey, W Drake, W man. And I mean, on 21's side, okay, he's actually like, bro, he raps about the most gruesome and worst shit ever. He's gone missing and we gon' spin his parents. Like, bro, hello, that is awful. But hey, it's pretty hard and entertaining, so I mean, I can't complain. But yeah, even though these moments and lyrics are weird and a bit goofy, I think they're fun and make for entertaining moments. It's moments like that that can divert my attention back to the album if I ever lost it, which does happen a couple of times during this album, and I can even get a laugh out of them. I mean, that's really important to me. But I came to a realization. Okay, some people don't like the lyrics on this album, and I like them. And the tracks most people like, I don't really see the hype for them. And to talk about those for a bit, for example, Pussy and Millions, am I the only one not seeing the hype behind this song? It's okay, literally. That's it. Trav does decent, but it's a really regular feature from Travis. It's nothing you wouldn't expect from him, but I've been seeing it get hyped so much on the internet. I like the chorus. Other than that, this is really a mediocre track to me. Nothing about it stands out too much to me, and again, I forget 21 Savage is even on it. It really does feel like just a Drake album. Circle Loco, that's another track that I've been seeing get hyped. The One More Time sample is pretty cool, I'll give it that, but I think the hi-hats are a bit obnoxious. The song overall, I mean, it's 21 doesn't do too much for me, and neither does Drake. Still though, bonus points for the sample. Middle of the Ocean, as I said before, before, when Drake raps, he raps, okay, and you have to listen to it. I think this is a little bit too long though. Like, don't get me wrong, Drake does well, but in my opinion, it's a bit too long and the outro is really unnecessary. But overall, I think this is a way better effort from Drake compared to his last few albums. I think it's his best project since Views. Don't quite know if it's better than Views, you know, I don't know about that one, Chief. That's a little tough. And also More Life, it's in contention there, but I think I genuinely do prefer this over More Life. But, you know, as soon as I started to doubt him, he dropped something I relatively enjoyed. But I'm not mad at that. I actually want that to be the case. It's not as bloated as Scorpion. It's definitely better than whatever the fuck Honestly Nevermind was. And it's close with CLB, but I think this has the better writing in comparison to CLB, and it's not as bloated. But sometimes, you know, when Drake talks about sex, it can come off a little weird on some lyrics. Not all. As I said, the writing on here is actually pretty good in my opinion. And the occasional weird lyric that just doesn't really, you know, fall that well because of his age.
Up 8 a.m. geeking hard, I'm a real vamp.
At one point, I don't remember what track it is, but he said purr. Yes, Drizzy Drake, Champagne Papi, the biggest artist of the 2010s, said purr at the age of 36 years old. Also, to go away from the music a little bit, I've been seeing hate for the cover, and honestly, I think it's just hate because it's Drake. I'm defending Drake at this point. Like, if it wasn't Drake, I'm convinced this cover would get love, and this is coming from someone who's been pretty critical of Drake's work recently. But yeah, in general, there's a lot of stuff to like, but also a lot of stuff that doesn't really move me about this album. I think the mixing is a little rough on certain songs, like the intro. On Spin About You, I think the hi-hats are all over the place, and just some songs I'm not a fan of production-wise. I much prefer the darker sound of Major Distributions and Broke Boys compared to like Back Outside Boys. Also, why was Lil Baby not on that song? He would have legit killed it. As soon as I heard the beat, I knew, okay, that Lil Baby has to be on. I think 21 didn't have nearly as much involvement as he should have had. I think the perfect balance between them is in the track More M's, and I think the album should have had more tracks like that. But whenever he's given the chance, I think 21 does okay for the most part, and I think this is a slight return to form for Drake. Before getting into my favorite tracks though, make sure you like and subscribe. Alright, let's get into it. To start with my favorite tracks, I have to go with Rich Flex. Already talked about why I like this song, and it's a good opener.
Hey, sticks and stones, chrome on chrome.
Major Distributions, I think the intro is pretty cool, and both Drake and 21 go hard.
In this mansion, I'm a Macaulay Culkin, paid in full, I'm a Kai Fife.
On BS, an all-around solid song with both of them doing good.
I'm a gentleman, I'm generous, I blow $500,000 on you hoes, I'm a feminist.
Broke Boys, a great first half to the song, sounds dark, serious, and when it switched, I was thinking, yeah, no, he ruined it, this didn't need to change. But nope, Drake killed it and somehow made it even better.
I can't talk to broke boys, I can't talk to broke boys.
And lastly, I guess it's Fuck Me, definitely reminds me a bit of old Drake. I really love what he does on here. I just really want the singing vocals to not be as processed as they were. That aside, still, a pretty good song.
The devils that I recognize, most of them got pretty eyes, titties, and some plans of just getting by.
Realistically, this is Drake featuring 21 Savage, but there's definitely stuff to come back to though. I'm gonna give this project a light 7 out of 10. And that'll be it for my review. Tell me what you guys thought about the album. If you liked it, tell me why. If you didn't, also tell me why. I'm looking to hear you guys' opinions. I also ranked every song from this album, so check that out if you want to. Please make sure you like and subscribe. That will mean so much to me, as it'll help push my video and my channel into the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, I guess I'll see you next time. Peace.